Welcome everyone to NXTV. I would like to take a moment here and recognize the contributions that Undisputed Era have done for NXT. I'd like to take a moment of silence. And that's enough of that. Who is excited for what just happened last night? I'm sorry, I'm a huge Undisputed Era fan, but man, we've got to talk about last night. This is typically our preview episode, but we've got to review NXT Vengeance Day. I am just running here. I am so hyped for that show last night. Probably, in my opinion, and we've had 32 of them, but that has to be the best NXT takeover that we've ever had. I mean, top to bottom, just straight up. Every match had some kind of championship implications, and boy, did they deliver. Let's start off with the pre-show. Normally, the pre-show for NXT takeovers, nothing good really happens. But I had to go live last night on my Facebook page to talk about I'm sorry, it is not Eli Drake. It is L.A. Knight. Makes his debut. I am super excited. We all know he's had a history with NXT in the past. He got let go for several reasons. Couldn't get along with a few people or whatever it was. I don't care. He went and made himself a star elsewhere, and now he's back. Hours, I'm talking hours after he signs the dotted line, he's already on TV. What? And he's already said, watch out, if you've got a title, I'm coming for you. What? I mean, this is Mako Satomura level. I mean, he comes in and he's already lining himself up for a title shot. I mean, where is there room for him other than the North American title, right? So let's start him off there and then move forward. But man, it's amazing to see him already on TV. I'm super excited to see him here. Then we go into the show. And the show starts off with the Women's Dusty Cup final match with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez going over Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon here. Was this the best move? I'm not convinced. We already know that Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax have those titles. But if you think about the fact that Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are two of the, most powerful women in the division, not saying they are the most powerful, but they are two of the most powerful women in the division, you don't want Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon going after them. You really kind of want a Raquel Gonzalez to be in the ring to kind of even those odds. But we know that they are both heel teams, and they both have no problem going above and beyond the rules here in order to either retain or to gain those titles. If the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships are coming to NXT, this is our best shot. Those titles have been around for 2 or 3 years now, and NXT's never held them, even though NXT can go for them. Shotzi's already had a shot at those titles. So, if we're going to have the Tag Team Championships on NXT, this is going to be where it happens. Shotzi and Ember also, they came out with a unified entrance this time. One song, one t-shirt, one unit. Does this mean that they are going to stay a tag team? I hope so. I really do. I like them as a team, and I feel like they've both already gone for the singles gold, and it seems like in order for them to stay relevant, they need to stay together. Not that they can't be relevant on their own, but I like them better together. The next match. Woo! I'm exhausted just thinking about that match. Kushida and Johnny Gargano put on a clinic. That match of the night. Match of the night, in my opinion. And every match was a 5-star match, but this was like 5 1/4 star. Or I used to say a 7-star match, Dave Meltzer. But this match was the match of the night. Kushida took Johnny to the limits, and Johnny has had matches where he has gone to the limit. Tommaso Ciampa comes to mind. Every match that they had was a freaking clinic. But Kushida took him that much farther. He focused on that shoulder. He focused on that arm. He hit moves that you're like, What do you even call that? And I consider myself like a glossary for wrestling moves. I know pretty much every one of them, and I can name them all. But even though sometimes I'm like, what was that? But Kushida and Gargano went crazy. They went crazy, and I do not want this to be over. I don't. MSK comes out and goes over GYV in the Men's Dusty Classic Finals. This was the right move. GYV, I know I said in the preview show this weekend that I feel like they needed to win it, but I also said I really didn't care who won. And MSK, man, they were on it. They hit moves that were just out of this world. They took GYV to the point where they had to completely abandon their strategy and say, well, let's fight fire with fire and see if that works. And it didn't. James Drake goes and hits a 450 splash and doesn't put him away. James Drake goes and hits a 450 splash and couldn't put him away. That's when I'm like, MSK's coming out with this win here. But, I mean, insane match. Insane match. Congratulations to MSK. I cannot wait to see them take on Oni and Danny. Io Shirai, Toni Storm, Mercedes Martinez for the NXT Women's Championship. I didn't see this ending coming. I didn't see this ending coming 30 seconds before the match ended, and most of the time I can do that. I didn't see it coming. I did not see Io Shirai leaving with this title. Who is going to stop Io Shirai? Nobody. Maybe Taya Valkyrie? Finn Balor, Pete Dunne. I didn't think it could get better than it did with Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor. Those two matches right there were equivalent to Undertaker Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. They just were. They were NXT's Undertaker Shawn Michaels. Pete Dunne comes in and says, screw that. And goes on and just annihilates Finn Balor for most of the match. Finn Balor had no response to most of Pete's offense. He was just on defense the whole time. He hit a few offensive moves to kind of keep the match interesting, but Pete Dunne owned Finn Balor throughout that match, in my opinion. A lot of people will disagree with that. But I feel like Pete Dunne was telling us all he was fixing to leave with this championship. And he didn't. He didn't. Finn Balor picks up the win, and I agree with that move. I do. Pete Dunne needs to be the chaser. But then after the match is over with, of course, Danny and Oni come in there, and they start beating down, Finn Balor. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, MSK is going to come out and help him, right? They have to. They've got the next shot at the titles, right? No, we get Shock the System. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we've seen this. We've seen this in the past. They come out and help him. Finn Balor reluctantly accepts the help. But Kyle is the only one kind of reaching down there and making sure that Finn's okay. And he's talking for a little bit. He's like, you're the champ. You're the champ. We got you. We got you. And then Adam Cole, out of nowhere, super kick right to that jaw that has been attacked several times to Finn Balor. Kyle gets upset, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Please don't. Please. Oh, he did. He did. He kicked Kyle right in the face. And I'm like, okay. Well, we had a good run. 4 years of it, right? We went 3.5, really. I think they debuted in August of 2017. We had about 3.5 years of Undisputed Era. We had a good 3 years with Roddy on it, right? And Bobby is injured. And if you think about it, Kyle O'Reilly can't really go back to tagging after those matches with Balor. And Adam Cole's too good to tag. Right? They got taken out of the Dusty Classic in the second round? So I think it's time. And I think that Adam Cole basically kicking Balor in the face was him trying to go after the world title. And then he kicks a Kyle, and I'm thinking, okay, we already have Cross lined up. We already have Edge already saying he wants the title. We've got Eli Drake, LA Knight, saying he wants the title. So we've got to do something here, right? So let's have Cole and O'Reilly for a good 6-7 weeks leading up to the WrestleMania weekend. Have them finish that at WrestleMania, and then at that point go on and pick Cole back in the title match, pick Riley back in the title picture, whatever we need to do there. But I'm excited because I know how good these two are. We all know how good these two are. Let them go, right? So now that's out of the way. Let's preview this week in NXT shows. The only thing that we have advertised for NXT this week is Santos Escobar and Karrion Kross. Good. It's time. We need to go ahead and we need to have this match. We need to get this out of the way, and then we need to insert Kross into that title picture. This should be an amazing match. We all know how good Escobar is. We know how good Karrion Kross is. Karrion Kross is undefeated. Escobar hasn't been beaten in a while. So this should be decent. This should be a decent match. We can only assume that we're going to have a showdown between O'Reilly and Cole. We can only assume that there's going to be some kind of fallout for Kushida and Gargano. We can only assume that there'll be something going on with Dexter Lumis and Austin Theory, since Austin didn't get to come out to the ring with Johnny last night because of the, he just disappeared, So we can assume that something like that's going to happen. We can assume the fallout for the Dusty Classic is going to happen. We may have like an official coronation. We may have official challenges for those tag titles. Something like that. We know that NXT isn't going to just be an empty show with just one match. There's no reason to promote NXT knowing how good TakeOver was last night. NXT UK, we actually have matches announced. They're listening to me, guys. There's 20 people that watch these shows, but one of them works at WWE, I'm convinced. Because we have matches announced for NXT UK. We have Joe Coffey and Rampage Brown. What? Oh, yes. Joe Coffey, Rampage Brown. This is Godzilla and King Kong. This is Godzilla and King Kong, because I can't think of anything else. No, Godzilla, King Kong. Okay, so let's go, guys. Let's go. This match is going to be a beating. It's going to be a beating. We have Nina Samuels and Zaya Brookside announced for sometime soon. I'm sorry, Zach. I'm sorry. Soon. Maybe this week? Maybe. I don't know. But, there's... Zaya has to be Nina's bag carrier for a month. This is 80s stuff here. But whatever. Cool. We can assume there's going to be some kind of interaction between Meiko Satomura and Kaylee Ray. I hope. I do. I just do. We got to assume there's going to be some kind of response from A-Kid to Shaw Samuels. We know that match is not happening this Thursday, but next Thursday. They already announced that, so we got to assume A-Kid's going to have some kind of, you want the Heritage Cup, you're going to have to bring your A-game, something like that. A-game, because A-Kid. But anyway, that's what we have for this week. No 205 Live matches announced, because why? Anyway, that's what we have. If you have questions for me, please post them under this video, or I may just have a pinned post at the top of my page. If you have questions, so just go ahead and ask them there so we can just go and grab them all at the same time. I loved answering the questions on the last video. Let's keep that going, because I love talking wrestling. Obviously, I do this show for 20 people. So it's mainly for me, because I love to talk wrestling, and I feel like I'm talking to somebody when I do these. So we will see you again on Saturday, most likely, for the review show. I may go live this week if something gets announced or whatever. But other than that, we will see you on Saturday. And remember, we are NXT.